I'm Lydia. I was diagnosed with stage 3C breast cancer in end of July 2018. 2016, I actually was watching The Truth About Cancer, so I decided that for my annual checkup, instead of going through the mainstream mammogram and ultrasound, I decided to try screening thermography because I did a bit of research, and that's where I stumbled on SOL. So when the result came out, it actually showed that there was some inflammation over my 2-3 o'clock breast area on my left breast, and the consultant who actually warned me that there is something going on and that I should be more concerned, and she actually told me that I should take this thermography report and go and see my breast surgeon. So I did that. When I went to see my breast surgeon, he, being mainstream, he did not quite believe on those reports, and he actually did an ultrasound scan on me and told me that it was nothing to worry about. But of course, I've done my research on thermography, and I felt that thermography, as per my research, showed that it can actually detect cancer, even as early as 10 years before any pathology is formed. So I was still a bit concerned, even though my mainstream doctor told me that it was nothing to worry about. But anyway, having seen my reaction, he said, if I'm concerned, come back in 6 months and he will do another scan for me, and I actually did. So mid-2017, I went back to see my breast surgeon, and he did another ultrasound scan, but he didn't do mammogram, and he told me, see, nothing to worry about. So after 2 scans in 6 months period, he somehow reassured me that nothing to worry about. So after that, I actually was at ease and went on with my life. Yes, I took a little bit more supplements, did a little bit more juicing, but probably not intense enough. So went on with my life, and 1 year later, my regular annual checkup was due, so that was around mid-2018. So I went back to the same breast surgeon, and this time I was due for mammogram as well as ultrasound, and that's actually when they detected that I have the 2 lumps at 2 or 3 o'clock. That's on retrospect, when I look back at my thermography from 2016, which I did in SOL, it was like spot on. It was the exact same spot where the thermography showed the heat, the inflammation. And only 2 years later, it formed the tumor, 2 tumors at 2 and 3 o'clock. And yeah, that was already mid-2018. So everything happened very fast. So in August 2018, my breast surgeon obviously said I need to do a surgery, a lumpectomy, and so forth. But having had personal history and strong family history, I decided to have a bilateral mastect. Yep. So that was end August 2018. They didn't get clear margins. I went in for a revision surgery the following month. Was a bit lost. I felt it was kind of like run-of-the-mill, standard protocol. Okay, after surgery, do your 6 rounds of chemo, do your 15 RADs. Yeah. So I actually, first detection, they say a stage 2, but after pathology and everything came back, I was a stage 3C with lymph nodes involvement. Yeah, it was kind of like a very scary time for me. Everything happening so fast and very lost, and I felt that the mainstream doctors were just trying to treat the symptoms, and I felt that I should be the master of my body. There must be something else wrong with me, and actually I felt lost. So I went back to see Dr Hasveni in SOL, and she advised me to do thermography. Okay, that was just before my surgery, to get a baseline. Indeed, it confirmed that I had the cancer on my breast, and of course there were a few other parts in my body that had blockages and whatnot. And Dr. Hasveni guided me on how I can make myself well through lifestyle changes, the supplements that she recommended to me in terms of my diet and my exercise. And the part that I actually didn't see it coming from a doctor was that she also addressed my spiritual side, my emotional side, and my mental health, which I would have never gotten that kind of advice from a mainstream doctor. Then I started my chemo, and it was kind of like just run of the mill, just one of the patients in the at the mainstream hospital. And many times I felt very discouraged, full of fear, thinking that my cancer might recur. And every 3 weeks before my chemo, I would actually come to SOL to do my nutritional therapy as advised by Dr. Hasveni. I believe that helped me a lot, because throughout my chemo I was well. Actually, I'm from outstation, so every 3 weeks I actually have to fly here. And in the past, every time I fly I would get sick, but this time I was actually doing chemo. My immune system in fact was much lower, but then I have the guidance of Dr. Hasveni at SOL, taking care of me, guiding me, and with the nutritional therapy, I actually never got sick throughout the 6 cycles. In fact, I look healthier, I felt healthier. My friends tell me I look younger, healthier. I also felt I was much healthier. I used to have a lot of constipation problem, but through the nutritional therapy and changing my lifestyle, my bowel movement were regular. So I knew that something good was happening with my body despite going through chemo at the same time. I think the part where I find that SOL helped me a lot in terms of the emotional and the mental support. I mean, of course, the nutritional side as well. But if I had just carried on with my chemo, seeing mainstream doctors, I don't think I would have been able to get through this cancer journey as well as I did. And I actually look forward to coming here before I actually did each of my chemo cycle, because it really builds me in terms of my emotional strength to fight on. Of course, when I was first diagnosed, the word cancer, wow, really scares the hell out of me. And in fact, I took 2 hours quiet time thinking what's going to happen to me, and I was a bit lost because I always thought that it would never happen to me. So I was sitting in the lobby after I saw my doctor, my breast surgeon, and it was like very late already, and then he was coming down. He's finished work and he passed me. He said, "Are you okay, Lydia?" I said, "Yeah, I just need quiet time." But as he walked off, I actually shouted at him. I said, "Doctor, am I going to die?" Yeah. And he actually told me, "No, of course not. It's just how we're going to do your surgery to preserve your breast." But anyway, that wasn't on my mind, how to preserve my breast, because I was thinking of like how to preserve my life, But throughout my journey, it's been like around 8 months already. I've just finished my radiotherapy. I realized that cancer is not a death sentence. To me, cancer was a wake-up call to have a self-reflection of my life in terms of not just the health aspects, but like many different aspects for my total healing. It's like time for me to reflect. Maybe I have some bitterness that I've kept in my heart, and a lot of stress, perhaps from work, from taking care of my children. I have special needs. All these different aspects, my diet, my lifestyle, sleeping late, not taking care of what I eat when I'm in a rush. So it was a time where I had to sit down and look at my life from every angle and reevaluate. So I guess if I didn't have this cancer, I'll probably just go on with my life as usual. But cancer was, to me, it's not a death sentence, it's a wake-up call. And indeed, since my diagnosis, I've made many life changes, especially the stress management part. To not sweat over the small stuff, we need to get enough sleep. So to sleep earlier, get up early. And then I also have incorporated yoga and qigong into my everyday exercise to try and learn how to have more oxygen in my body. That will kind of hopefully keep the cancer at bay. Of course, with most cancer survivors, we are always fearful of recurrence, and that was my biggest fear. And I think really coming to SOL with Dr. Hasveni's guidance, she is the only doctor who prescribed me medicine for the soul, which I'm really grateful for. Yeah, and without her, I think my cancer journey would have been, I don't know, I would have been lost, because I felt that mainstream medicine, they just treat the symptom, like my tumor is just a symptom, but they don't treat the root of the problem. And there must be more to that. And that's, of course, I did my own research and whatnot, but then coming to SOL with Dr. Hasveni's guidance, she really helped me to understand, yes, if you have a healthy body, there's no way that cancer cells can thrive in your body, and that I have the control to change all that, and I am the master of my body, and I can be healthy. And with that positive mindset, I can overcome this, and anyone can, even though you may be a late stage cancer patient. Okay, thank you.